Hello, my name is Hakon, and welcome back, all you fabulous fighting fantasy aficionados, for yet another episode of Fighting Fantasy Fun, or Fighting Fantasy Frustration, as we tackle Creature of Havoc for the 15th time. Last time I ended up, as usual, in what seems like an elaborate dead end again. So and I was trying to look at my map and find out where had I missed looking, and I think I found a spot where there is potential for something else happening. So I will go there right now. I'm not going to do too much of a recap now. I will, from now on, probably assume that you have actually watched the previous episodes, because it would be quite strange going in straight on episode 15 and expect to know everything that's going on. So I will presume previous knowledge. You have watched episode 14, 13, etc. when you watch this, most likely, and so I will start from there. So now I still have a theory that, I thought maybe the women of Dree, the witches, were trying to trick me, but then again, you got luck points when you had the encounter with them. Luck points after an encounter indicates to me that you're on the right path. So I will presume again that that is correct, and I will go to the point where something else might happen from that point. So I will start at the point where you meet the witches and where you get the quest from them, and then see if my theory now is correct and that something else happens that makes a difference. Okay, so let's get started. Boom, boom. Yes, there we are. We are back again, and I've got my supplies ready here. I got my book, got my character sheet, maps, pens, pencil, dice, and most importantly, and this is where I went wrong earlier. Earlier, I didn't have a cup of tea. Without tea, how can I succeed? Not having tea is like wearing a red shirt as an extra in Star Trek, the original series. You can't win with that. Right, so my theory was that I'm destined to meet the witches. I am destined to go with their quest. I am destined for that. I just have to get that right. There must be something I'm missing, and I have found a spot on my map that I haven't explored yet. That might just be it. So, yes, let's get started. So I'm going to start where I meet the witches, which is on paragraph 123, I think, if I can read my own writing, which I often can't. So, are we in focus? Yes, I think we are. So this is just after you get out of the dungeon, and the first thing you see is a graveyard and a building and a forest. And if you go to the building, this is what happens. You walk towards the old building, still in awe of your new surroundings. As you approach, you can hear voices inside. They are faint at first, but the closer you get, the clearer their words become. "Tonight is the night, sisters of Romina," cackles one of the voices. "When will it come?" shrieks another gleefully. "Quiet," snaps a third. "Its presence is close, I can feel it." You step up to the door of the building and shove it aside. Screams come from the three women within, but not screams of terror. These are more like screams of excitement. Just have to put my phone on silence. Sorry. Okay, there we are. The three old women are dressed in tattered rags. Each has long white hair and a stubbly chin, and rubs her wrinkled hands together in anticipation. They are human-like, but smaller. These three ugly witches are the women of Dree. Come in, friend," beckons one who is blind. "We have been waiting for you." "Yes," says another, whose mouth is toothless and black. "We are the women of Dree. We are to help you fulfill your destiny." The third one steps forward and speaks with a voice which hisses like a serpent. Yes, miserable creatures. We know what you are and who you are, so you do not. The gods have chosen us to be instrumentals in your destiny. We cannot control your I'm just going to do normal voice. We cannot control your actions, for you must make the final choice. But we can shape your destiny through our knowledge, and we will watch your progress. Yes, adds the blind woman. Have you not wondered why one such as you is able to take such steps of wisdom as would befit none less than a scholar? The three hags turn to one another and chuckle like naughty children. Finally, they turn to you. But before we tell you your destiny, starts the black-mouthed witch, there is something you must do for us. Sleep tonight and awaken fresh on the morrow. Then set off on a search for us. Bring us what we need for our potions. Bring us scullyweed root. For this we will tell you what you must know. We will join you on the night of the full moon. With those words, the women now once more begin their cackling, which is beginning to annoy you. Well, why wouldn't it? You step forward, but before you can reach them, they have faded to nothing. As silence spreads through the building, leaving only the night sounds outside, you reflect on their words. Will you take up their quest, or would you rather ignore them and make your own way in life? If you wish to undertake their quest, turn to 324. Yes, please. As you settle down to sleep in the run-down old building, you reflect on the words of the witches. You must find for them scullyweed roots from a plant you have never seen before. However, this task does seem to arouse your interest, and you are aware that something of yourself is developing. Your mind goes back to the blind wizard in the room and how you would never have been able to undertake a task such as this if you now felt as you did then. It is almost as if you are developing wisdom. This notion occupies your thoughts, and you drop into a disturbed sleep. When you awake the next morning, light is streaming in through colored glass in the windows, and you heave yourself to your feet. A fresh meaty meal is lying next to you, and you eat it. You may add 8 stamina points, if you're able, for the rest and the food, and 2 luck points for the encounter. So this is my thing now. I think you only get luck points for encounters when they most definitely are part of the correct path through the book. Otherwise, it would actually not make any sense, would it? Because if you're walking into an elaborate trap or a dead end, you should not get rewarded for that. So that's my logic now. You may now set off. Will you head north, south, east, or west? And the place that I saw there was something I hadn't looked at properly was going south, I think. Yes, south. I'm going to go south. 95. Just a short distance south of the building and the graveyard lies the peasant village of Coven, whose inhabitants live in constant fear of the evil that surrounds them. The growing power of Jaradan Ma and his ruthless henchmen, and the devilry of Dree, haven of witchcraft. Its buildings are basic, and the main route into the village is dusty and bumpy. There is nothing to suggest anything but poverty. As you follow the trail, villagers are going about their daily business ahead of you, but when they see you, they rush quickly away and hide in their wooden shacks. Eyes watch you from within the hovels, but no one dares venture into the street. Some of the huts have signs above them. One reads provisions, and another reads medicine man. Will you see what you can get in the way of provisions? Visit the medicine man, or will you leave Coven along a street leading west? Now, last time I was here, I went into the medicine man and wasted some time. And then I went outside and there was a half-orc lying dead in the road. And I'm wondering, because if I don't waste time going in there, because that didn't seem to be worth it to me at all, what happens then? So I'm going to go on the street leading west, 274. And as you might notice, I have actually, just to be sure that I was on the right track now for something different happening, I have actually looked at that paragraph, just that paragraph, before I started filming this video. Just to be sure to see if that was something different than what otherwise would happen, because that's the only way I could find out if one of the options I hadn't taken was something different. So, yeah. You head west out of the village. The peasants walking towards you gasp when they see your shape and cross over the road to avoid you. You ignore them and continue. Ahead, you can hear sounds of excited voices coming from one of the buildings. As you approach this hut, the sounds become louder. You hear a sharp crack. The door of the hut bursts outwards, and a tumbling figure rolls out of the door and straight into you. As the dark-skinned half-orc picks himself up, another figure steps through the doorway. So this is possibly the same half-orc I found dead if I went to the shops first. So the timeline is actually changed now. This one is a broad-shouldered human with a bare chest. The small crowd behind the human is urging him to finish off the half-orc, but the noise dies down when they notice you. Will you join in the fight? If so, will you come to the aid of the half-orc or the human? If you do not wish to get involved in the fight, you can leave them to it and continue your journey by going to 107. So, my options are as follows. I can go to 107. I can join on the side of the half-orc 291, half-orc, or on the human 251. The human doesn't seem to need any help as far as I can tell. I'm going to help the half-orc. So, 291. Gasps go up from the crowd as you step up to the bare-chested human, your claws poised, ready to strike. He has no weapon apart from his bare fists. The other villagers back away and leave the two of you to battle it out. The half-orc is still picking himself up, but shouts encouragement to you. Resolve the battle with a human who's got skill 7 and stamina of 8. So he's probably a bit of a big bully, likes picking on people that are less strong than him. So I've got a 5 skill point advantage. He rolls 3, I roll 7. He's down to 6. He rolls 9, I roll 7. He's down to 4. He rolls 3, I roll 6. He's down to 2. And he rolls 4, and I roll 7. And he is a goner, as they say. Right. 438. The villagers watch wide-eyed as their champion drops to the ground. Then anger takes over. "Rog is dead," cries a voice. "Let's get that thing that done it." One of them nips back. Oh, that nip again. Yeah, we got another nip. That's the second nip I've seen in this book now, I think. Steve Jackson likes a good nip. One of them nips back into the hut and produces a pitchfork. "Quick," comes a gruff voice from behind you. "We must leave quickly. Come with me." The half-orc is beckoning you to follow him out of the village. You look again at the villagers and decide that his suggestion is a sensible one. The two of you continue, pursued by the villagers, until you reach the edge of cover, where they stop and watch you leave, jeering and shaking their fists. "A foolish thing to do that," says the half-orc, his sly eyes glancing over at you. "Getting involved in someone else's fight. If I'd been you, I would have left you to fight your own battle. Chances are he would have killed me, but then what's that to you? And all because I ate his dog. What does he expect? I was hungry. I suppose I could have killed it first. Would you not have done the same? Well, wouldn't you? Lost your tongue? Silent type, eh? Well, I am Grognag Clawtooth. Call me Grog. Which way are you heading? Carrying anything interesting? Shall we travel together?" It's a bit of a chatterbox, isn't he? The creature is shorter than you are. He is dirty and he smells. His jet black hair is untidy and has not been cut for far too long. His clothes are little better than rags, although he wears a thick leather breastplate and a battered sword hangs from his belt. The two of you will continue your journey together. For as long as he is with you, watch out for reference numbers. If you turn to any references ending in a 7, for instance 247, deduct 52 from it and turn to this new reference. That'll be easy to forget, won't it? So, 52. So we got Grog is his name, and reference reference minus 52 if NN7. Okay, I'll remember it. Okay. That's interesting. Read the two together, it says. Okay, so that's sort of an add-on to the reference that ends with 7. Okay, continue now by turning to 107. Okay, so I'm going to 107, and that means I'm going to read 107 first. Hang on, 438 first. I forgot a paragraph there, so that's 438. And this looks like it's the correct path again. And again, this, yeah, it's quite promising. 107. So I'm going to go to 107, and then I'm going to look at 107 minus 52 as well. Okay, so you continue along the trail which leads out from Coven. It winds past a disused building, now mostly rubble, and sweeps round in a northerly direction. Eventually you come to a crossroads where you may turn either west or east or continue northwards. But then I'm supposed to read minus 52 as well, which is 55. So let's see what he says. The road out of Coven leads you past a disused building. Grog stops. Wait here, he says. I buried something in this building before I entered Coven. Just some worthless family heirlooms. Sentimental value. Back in a flash. He soon returns with a knapsack, which obviously contains something quite bulky. A box, perhaps. You are curious, but he makes no mention of the contents of his knapsack. Look, you're a strange creature, he says, as the two of you set off once more. Nothing to say, nowhere to go. Where do you come from? Are you just wandering about, or are you on some sort of mission? You nod enthusiastically. Ah, I see. But you can't talk. You shake your head. But you can't shake and nod your head. Well, we're in no real rush, are we? Let's make a game of it. I'll try to find out about your mission, and you can tell me whether or not I'm getting close to the truth. Is it something you're looking for rather than someone? You nod. Do you know where it is? You shake your head. And so the journey continues. The trail sweeps round to the north until it eventually reaches a crossroads. Grog's face lights up. I know, he exclaims. Rosina, she will help us. You must go west. Will you follow his advice and go west, or will you instead go east or continue north? Now, this is where I also did go west originally, so I'm going to go west. Okay, so 177. And that's quite a clever way of doing it, actually, to have the additional information on a separate paragraph that is linked by the clue. The trail leads to a small copse growing on a solitary hillock, which is the only noticeable feature of the otherwise flat countryside. When you reach the hillock, you can see a face of bare rock. Set in this rock are a number of small cave entrances facing the trail. In the center of these, remember I forgot to put it on my map now, because you go to 107, and that's linked with paragraph 55. And now, of course, I'm going to 177, and that will be linked with 125. When you reach the hillock, you can see a face of bare rock. Set in this rock are a number of small cave entrances facing the trail. In the center of these, backed up to the rock face, is a hut, and smoke drips lazily from its chimney. Someone is at home. Looking out westwards beyond the hillock, the ground is flat for as far as you can see. Your eyes scan the inhospitable waste of the windward plain. Nothing about its bleakness looks inviting. You turn your attentions once more to the hut. Will you enter through the front door, or will you try one of the caves set in the rock face? And this is where Grog will help us out again, I presume. I'll go to 125. There we are. This is Rosina's cottage, announces Grog. She'll be able to help, but you'll need some money to pay her with, so here's 2 gold pieces. Go inside. I'll wait here. You take the coins, and then you must decide what to do. Return to 177 to make your decision. So I'm going to go through the door. You enter the hut and find yourself in a room decorated with intricately woven cloths in rich colors, which hang from the walls and ceiling, making the room itself dark and mysterious. A long thin stick smoulders in a brass pot which stands on a table at one end of the room, and as it burns it gives off a heavy, perfumed smell. There is also a pack of cards on the table, next to a clear, glassy orb. You can see the hanging cloths behind the table rustling, and a voice breaks the silence. Who calls on the powers of Rosina of Dree? Who wishes to know his destiny? Speak. You wait and watch as an old woman, plump and stooped, shuffles out from behind the curtain into the room. She is dressed in brightly colored robes, and she sits down behind the table. She squints as she tries to focus on you. Far from your home you have come to speak with Rosina, she smiles, and much further have you yet to travel. Now you have found me. I may guide you to fulfilling your destiny, but will you pay my price? She will read your fortune, but only if you have money to pay with. She will charge 2 gold pieces. If you have the money, turn to 11. Yes, I do. Another sip, I think. Thank you, she smiles, depositing the coins deep in the folds of her clothing. Now we may see what fate has in store for you. I will shuffle the pack of fate, and you must tell me when to stop. She picks up the cards and begins to shuffle them slowly, staring deep into your eyes as she does so. You grunt when you want her to stop. She then starts turning cards over. The first card is black, with the symbol of a question mark delicately drawn in its center. Ah, the mystery card. Rosina smiles. She probably should have an accent like that, shouldn't she? All is not as it seems. There are many things about you, your past and your destiny, that are unclear, even to you. She turns over another card. Again it is black, but this one has a small yellow sun symbol in the center. Yes, light in the darkness. She is becoming engrossed in the cards. This is good. Your destiny may be attained, but fate will not be kind to you. It may not be easy. The next card shows a young pregnant woman in a coffin, and the next shows a cloak and wand. A mother deceased, and the mystic arts. Then surely must your birth have been one not of nature, but of sorcery. I must concentrate. She turns over another card, and this one shows a man lying on a cloud, pointing into the distance. The next shows a man with 2 heads looking in different directions. The geese, a mission to be fulfilled. You have been sent, but I also see confusion. I must look further. She leaves the cards and moves a crystal ball into the center of the table. As she concentrates on it, the glass begins to turn cloudy. An inner light shines from the ball and lights up Rosina's eyes. Sisters, she speaks. Sisters of Dree, so it is you who have set this task. But this creature knows not of Scullyweed or of the dangers of... I see. But I may shorten the search. My aid shall help fulfill its destiny. The light in the glass fades, and she turns to you. You have been set an unfair task, she says, for the blue-stemmed scullyweed grows only in the swamps of the Toadmen, on the southern shores of the Diddlewater. But even one such as you may not survive alone in these swamps. Without help, you will surely die. I can offer you some help. Take the rope that hangs over there. It may prove useful. And may fortune sit astride your shoulders. You take the coil of rope, sling it around your neck and over your shoulder, and turn back to Rosina. But she has left the room. You may add 2 luck points for the information. Again, luck points indicating this is the right place to be. Okay, so, and of course, she is also quite clear that you can't do it without any help. She even said it more than once. Is she referring to the help of Grog? Because if we are 2 people, maybe the Toadman can't get to us. Maybe I will be able to get the flower. That's interesting. Right, 386. You head off back towards the crossroads and turn this time to the north. Yep, 130, not ending in 7. There are so many 7s now that it's easy to remember. You follow the trail northwards. By now it is becoming quite dark. The setting sun gives way to a bright moon, which is almost full. Eventually you decide to rest for the night, and you settle down to sleep behind a large boulder. The night passes peacefully, and you may gain 4 stamina points for the rest. The next morning you continue northwards until you reach a fork in the path. A signpost stands by the side of the road. The way to the south is signposted to Dree. I know that's not where south is, because I just came from Coven, didn't I? Northwest, the signpost reads Coven, so I know that's not true. And the northeast reads Buffon Fen. So, and this is my theory from last time, all the signs are wrong. So the one that points towards Dree is actually towards Coven, and the one that says Buffon Fen is then there for Dree, and the one that says Coven is there for Buffon Fen. So, which is why I'm supposed to go northwest 190. As you follow the trail, the vegetation changes. The flat grassland begins to be replaced by taller reeds. The going underfoot becomes muddier, until eventually you reach an area where bulrushes tower over your head. Will you continue into the rushes? Turn to 307. That's interesting because that means I get information from Grog again. A trail has been cut through the bulrushes. Your heavy feet splash along the marshy trail until you reach a clearing. The going seems a little more solid, and you can see footprints, not human footprints, but the large webbed footprints of some unknown creature. From the clearing there are 2 ways on, one to the north and one to the northeast. Which will you choose? And then, of course, this being, I've got information from my travel companion now at paragraph 255. Let's see what he has to add. Wait, cries Grog as you start across the clearing. Look at this. Notice how all the footprints avoid the center of the clearing? Perhaps it is unsafe. I suggest we keep to the outside. You follow him round the edge of the clearing towards the trail you have chosen. Have you chosen the trail to the north or the trail to the northeast? And it was the trail to the... Well, they both lead to the same place, didn't they? Or didn't they? No, they didn't actually, but I'm going to go to the north because that's where the flowers are, and that's where I need to get to. So, sorry, 267. Ah, that's another 7. So, you follow the trail as it winds through the reeds. More than once, a slippery swamp snake slithers across your path, but thankfully they have no interest in you. Several types of croaking noises can be heard, but the one that worries you the most is a loud booming croak which sounds more like a throaty belch. This particular sound is regular, and similar croaks seem to echo it from various parts of the marsh. Ahead of you, the trail is opening up as it reaches a riverbank, where a wealth of colourful plants line the river. But as you stand and watch the river flowing past, you notice a pair of eyes in the reeds. 2 large bulbous eyes blink slowly as you stare at them. When the owner of the eyes realizes you have seen him, he turns and you can see a bulky, rough-skinned shape, rather like a huge stone, shuffle off noisily into the reeds. Will you follow this creature? Would you rather investigate the plants? Or do you want to leave as quickly as possible? And now let's see what Grog has to say on this particular situation. Let's see. So that's 215. Let's go to 215. Let's see what he has to add. I like this mechanic, actually, I must say. You can go after that thing, whatever it was, if you like, says Grog, looking quite worried, but I'd just like to get out of here safely. Okay. In that case, I think I'll just look at the plants then. 380, yeah. The riverside is a place of great natural beauty. At least it seems to be natural. But there is always the possibility that someone has planted the colorful plants in their beds along the banks of the river. So that's another little hint for you that you should be careful not to touch them. A tall green-stemmed reed is topped with coiled trumpets of purple flowers which hang down facing the river. These flowers are so beautiful that they have a hypnotic effect on the fish of the river, which are attracted to the water beneath the reeds and can be seen swimming beneath them. That's a terrible sentence. It's river twice and beneath twice. Not very good. Sorry. Another blue stem plant has no flowers, but its glistening color is quite remarkable and it has a strong herbal odor. Yet another plant has leaves which are perfect circles, red in color. As you watch, one of the leaves drops into the river. The leaf seems to have some purifying effect. As soon as it touches the water, all cloudiness is gone from the area around the leaf. The water becomes crystal clear until disturbed by the flow of the current. Another plant out of reach in the water has delicate flowers of silver. As the wind blows, the flowers whistle and tinkle together with an eerie, calming sound which makes you feel quite relaxed. You may, if you wish, gather a few of one of these types of plant before you leave. Which one will you choose? So now I'm going to go for the scullyweed again. That's the one with the blue stem. So 106. Yeah. This plant has mysterious properties. You may or may not get the opportunity to find out what it can be used for. If asked to present this plant to someone later in the adventure, remember the number 49. So I got a note of that, I think, from last time I was there. Scullyweed 49, yeah. You may leave the riverbank by turning to 18. Okay, 18. You turn to leave the riverbank, but something is not quite right. You came along a trail, but that trail has now disappeared. Where you had expected it to be is now overgrown with tall rushes, and the only trail leading away from the bank is one to your left. Bewildered, you follow it until you reach a clearing. Turn to 315. There are two ways on from this clearing, and while you are deciding which to take, you are startled by a loud croaking noise, which seems to come from immediately behind you. You spin around to find yourself facing a creature almost as large as you, with a huge head and a puffed-out body with warty skin. Its feet and hands are webbed. It opens a cavernous mouth and lets out a deafening croak, while its two glassy eyes blink slowly. In one hand it grasps a trident, and it seems to want you to back into the center of the clearing. But having seen the sloshy mud in the center of it, you are not sure whether you are all that keen to oblige. Would you back towards the center of the clearing, as the Toadman wishes, or would you rather fight the creature? I want to fight him in that case. 145. Let's see. It doesn't seem like Grog is helping us fight now. That's all right. I'll win anyway. So I got a 3 skill point advantage. He's got 9. So he rolls 8. I roll 6. But I roll doubles, finally, which is a special rule. When you roll doubles in a battle, you instantly kill your opponent. He is dead. It's your claws doing the work. I didn't roll any doubles for myself last time. This is it was about time I did it again. Okay. 287, and that's where I get help again from Grog. As the Toadman staggers and falls, you see more of the creatures hopping out from the reeds. What can you do against so many? A stabbing pain in the back reminds you that you will not have much choice in the matter. One of the creatures is behind you, jabbing you with a trident. Another steps forward and speaks to you. None may enter the fens of the Toadman, he announces. Our marsh and our herb gardens are holy. They are for no eyes but your own. There is only one punishment for disobeying this law. That is death. But then Grog steps in at paragraph 235. Let's see what he has to say. Let's see, 235. I'll just put that up here. And 235. In the heat of the battle, you have forgotten all about the little half-orc who had disappeared. Then your attention is captured by his familiar figure making its way through the reeds behind the Toadman. Grog is creeping round the back of the circle. You glance around. No one has noticed him. From the corner of your eye, you watch as he takes off his knapsack and lays it on the ground by the trail, then steps stealthily through the reeds towards the Toadman leader. When the time is right, he takes a flying leap. As fate would have it, one of the Toadmen notices the half-orc at that very moment, and his trident flies through the air and sinks into Grog's neck in mid-flight. The half-orc dies instantly. Okay. But the trident does not prevent his body from continuing through the air to collide with the Toadman leader, who tumbles into the sink pit in the center of the clearing. When this happens, the Toadmen forget all about you and rush about, trying to prevent the leader from sinking. You take advantage of the situation and creep round the outside of the clearing. You pick up the poor half-orc's knapsack and make off along the trail. Bye-bye, Grog. Well, so that was useful. A short while later, you are leaving the marshes. When you are well away from danger, you become a little curious about what Grog carried in his knapsack. There is certainly something solid in there. You pull back the top and reach inside. Your fingers touch a wooden box, and you pull it from the bag. It is closed with a delicate clasp, which your awkward fingers cannot open. But apart from the box, Grog also carried a small vial of potion of fortune. If you wish, you may drink this, and it will restore your luck to its initial level, which I don't need at the moment. So I got a potion of fortune, and in it, not initial +1 like the one you can get in the beginning of the game sometimes. So there's hardly been any use of luck in this one, and of course you've actually gained more luck points than you've lost. So yeah, well, that means I'm actually through now. I've actually managed to get Scullyweed. I survived the marshes, and I'm almost certain then that all the other possibilities in this section of the book are deliberate and elaborate death traps set by Steve Jackson to lure the foolhardy adventurer into making the wrong choices. Clever, devious, I would say. Okay, then you may proceed to 92. Okay, so 92, and this is probably where I should consider doing a new page of map, which would be page number, number 8. Yeah, I'm going to do that. I'm going to make this page number 8. So I'll just need to move this to page number 8, FF24, starting with paragraph 92. 92, there we are. This looks promising. Okay, so 92. You continue along the trail. By now it is getting quite dark, and the full moon is rising in the sky. That's when I was supposed to meet the weird sisters again, isn't it? You decide to sleep for the night beneath a spreading tree at the side of the road. You soon drift off to sleep. You are tormented that night with a vivid dream again. The 3 witch women have returned. Each has hold of one of your limbs and is pulling it. The women possess tremendous strength, and you feel as if you are being torn apart by the foul creatures. One of them seems to be trying to keep you from the other 2, who are cackling gleefully. Ours, the creature shall be ours. To Dree, for Maranga it must go. The other is pulling your arm. No, she screams, it shall not be. You shall have the creature only if it fails to bring us the Scullyweed. Finally, the 3 release their grip. The root, they chant. Give us the root. You wake up in a cold sweat. The tree is being blown by wind. A howling sound whistles through it. The branches and another sound mixes with it. Woo, woo, psh, roo, root, psh, root, the root. The sound fills your ears, and you spin around to see the grinning faces of the 3 women of Dree. They are asking for the root. Do you have any plants with you? If so, you will have noted down a number. Add the number to this reference and turn to the new reference. If you do not have any plants with you, turn to 222. So we got 222, no, or in this case, 49. So that is 101, 141. So hisses one of the witches, holding her hands high. The creature succeeds. Scullyweed root, exclaims another. Then indeed we are to be instruments of your destiny. Give us the root, then we may tell you what you must know. You hand over the plants to the witches. So be it, starts the black-mouthed witch. The test has been passed. We must tell this creature of its past, its present, and of its future. You are a creature of Jaradan Ma, this you know. You are his creature as he is ours, but now you must destroy our unholy son, for he seeks to alter the very balance of nature. Evil must not triumph over all. Chaos cannot reign supreme, for the balance is vital. We cannot get near Jaradan, for he knows that we would prevent his plans, but his vanity is great. You are his creation. He will not turn you from his door, and when you meet him, you must destroy him. When you do this, you will save the balance, and your own truth will be revealed. We may not tell you more, lest your thirst for knowledge be quenched and you abandon your destiny. The sightless witch continues. We do not know how you may meet Jaradan, but we can offer you one more ally. In Not Oakwood, you must meet the white-haired elf, Daga Weaseltongue. He can tell you how to enter the galley keep, for he has been there himself. But beware his words. Weaseltongue speaks untruths as if they were truths. Should his sentence begin with a vowel, then it is truth. Otherwise, trust not his words. This is so clever. But this ring of truth may help you. Make sure you show it to him. Okay. Should you meet... Okay, so let's just make a note of this now. So Weaseltongue. What was it said again? If the sentence begins with a vowel, it is truth. Okay, so vowel equals truth, and then we get the ring of truth. Should you meet Weaseltongue, he may offer you some information. You may gain more reliable information by revealing the witch's ring and deducting 50 from the reference, and so you're on at the time. Ring of truth minus 50. For you are able to see through his lies. Okay, so it is so complex, the web of clues and hints and dead ends. Okay. The witches continue. We know not where in Not Oakwood he is, but we know this. The Ophidiator is his ally. He will lead you to Weaseltongue, and we can lead you to the Ophidiator. Just sleep when we have left. This is all we can say. Now we must leave you, but your gift to us will be used to produce a potion of luck, which shall try to bestow its powers on you from afar. Farewell. With these words, the wind picks up once more, and the gale whistles through the tree. The images of the witches fade in the wind, and calm settles round you. A faint breeze blows across your brow, and it seems to soothe you. You lie down once more on the ground beneath the tree and drift off to sleep. You may increase your luck to score to its initial level. So let's see. So that is init luck, clue, ring, big circle. Okay. When you awaken, you do not recognize your new surroundings. You're no longer under a solitary tree in a barren landscape. Instead, you are in a rich forest. Birds twitter high above you in the branches of the many trees which shade you from the sun. You look around and find that you are lying beside a flowing river whose cool waters are gently spraying your face. You feel invigorated and you may restore your stamina to its initial levels. Star in it as well. Turn to 423. And here I have been before, so this then leads to 423, which is, let me see, 5, 6, that should be on, here. Okay, so my maps are getting more and more confusing. So 423, okay, so this is also from 141, leading to 423. Okay. You pick your way along the riverbank, following it downstream. The going is not easy. At one point you must climb carefully down a rocky cliff where the river passes over a waterfall. Eventually you reach a calm pool where the water is slow and spread over a wide expanse. Steam rises lazily from the pungent water and you halt in your tracks as the smell, now stronger than ever, reaches you. Through the steamy mist you catch a glimpse of a creature further along the bank. It stands tall on 4 legs and is drinking contentedly from the foul waters. You creep closer, keeping hidden in the bushes. The creature stands on long cloven feet. Its skin is covered in tough scales and its tail ends in a spiky ball. Its head is sleek and serpent-like, with a long thin tongue that darts in and out as it drinks from the river. It has not noticed you. Would you creep round the creature so as not to disturb it? Would you attack it in the hope of gaining a much-needed meal? Or would you approach it gently, try to keep it calm, and then mount it? 127. You creep forward until you are quite close to the creature. As you stand there motionless, patiently waiting for the right moment, a bird flutters down to land on a bush in front of you. You must now decide how you will approach the Ophidiator that you have encountered. Roll 2 dice. Roll 12. If the number is equals or exceeds your skill, turn to 238. My skill is so actually that is a failed skill roll, but if that is not going to work, then I'm going to just do everything. So I will have to actually say that I did everything the same way as before up to this point, and I made a new roll because this is where I need to go now to complete the book. So yeah, it doesn't really matter what I roll anymore if that's the case, does it? So I'm just going to do that, being pragmatic about it, and say that I succeeded the roll, and I'm going to go to paragraph 5 because I'm not going to start over again and actually read through every single paragraph again. I'm too pragmatic for that sort of thing. So, and also it wouldn't be any fun, would it? Thinking quickly, you snatch the bird from the branch. Actually, I'm getting a bit warm as well, so excuse me, I'll just need to take this woolen top off. It is quite chilly today, so I have put the heating on. I may have put it a little bit too much on, I don't know, or maybe it's this tea that's warming me, or maybe it's all the excitement of finally getting somewhere in this book again. So the Ophidiator hears the rustling and turns to see what is happening. You step slowly from the undergrowth, holding out the bird towards it as an offering. At first, the creature is startled by your arrival, but your slow approach seems to reassure it. You hold the bird closer, and its tongue darts out to snatch the food from you. You calm it down for a short time, then swing yourself up onto its back. It shrugs and snorts for a moment or two, but its protests are few, and you realize that you now have a steed. After allowing the Ophidiator to drink from the river, you grasp its neck with your white fingers and dig your heels into its haunches. Without warning, the creature turns and gallops off into the undergrowth. Its strong legs take you faster and faster through the woods. Branches catch your legs and arms while you are hugging the Ophidiator's neck tightly for balance and to protect your head. The journey continues for a seemingly endless time until you are so sore from riding that you wish the beast would throw you off. But finally you arrive at the clearing where the creature pulls up and stops. With great relief you step down from its back and survey the area, while your steed gallops back into the woods. Turn to 366. This is where we have Weasel Tongue. You step back into the bushes and search the clearing. Search the clearing suspiciously. All is quiet until a shrill cry breaks the silence. This is followed by the sounds of a struggle, and finally 3 figures tumble into the clearing from the undergrowth, locked in combat. 2 rough-set brigands are grappling with another creature. The brigands are burly humans with leather breastplates and boots. The belts around their waists hold throwing knives, but they are using their bare fists in this battle. Their adversary is thin and nimble, with long white hair and angular features. He wears a silky robe and appears to be unarmed. He's putting up a brave fight, but is clearly losing the battle as blow after blow from the brigands thuds into his stomach, ribs, and head. He is crying out for help. Will you help him? Yes. 429. As you crash out of the bushes into the clearing, the battle halts temporarily, and all 3 combatants stare incredulously at you. You must resolve your battle with the brigands, who will fight you together. So, they are 8, 9. Let's see, so we got 8, 9, and 8, 7. I've got a 4 skill point advantage. I'm going to start with the 8, 7, who rolls a 7. I rolled a 10. He is then instantly killed. The other one attacks me and rolls a 6. I defend myself with an 8. And then I attack the second one. He rolls 6. I roll 7, 9, 4. So he hits me once actually, so I'm down to 22. 11, 6. He hits me again. 3, 7. So that's his second hit. So it's down to 5. He rolls 7. I roll 9. He rolls 6. I roll 7. And finally, he's got 1 hit point left. He rolls 3 and I roll 9. And he is also dead. And I've got 21 hit points or stamina points left. I go to 448. Exhausted from your battle, your attentions turn to the white-haired creature lying moaning on the ground. Seeing that the battle is over and that you mean him no harm, he turns towards you. As he speaks to you, he winces in pain from his beating. I'm just going to skip the wincing now. I offer you my thanks for your aid. My name is Whiteleaf. I am an elf. Okay. Home for me is the village of Ethel Amaene. He turns over onto his back and continues. So I offer you my thanks for your aid. That is a truth, isn't it? Because a vowel starting with a vowel means it's talking the truth. My name is Whiteleaf. That is a lie. I am an elf. That is true. Home for me is the village of Ethel Amaene. That is a lie. He turns over to his back and continues. Ah, that's better. I know these woods well. That is true. Perhaps I can be of service to you in return. Well, that's not true, actually. But, yeah. What would you like him to tell you? So, this is where I ask about the galley keep, I suppose, again. Or is it where he's asking me to... Ah, yes, he's also asking me to help him, which is when I will show him the ring of truth, so he can't be pulling my legs or anything. So, I'm going to... let's see, where are we now? 448. So, this is where we have then secret paragraph option. If you have the ring, plus 50, minus 50, surely. Minus 50, yeah. So 398. Let's go to paragraph 398, see what is going on there. No, okay, so I have to... So maybe it's the one afterwards then. So, galley keep 269. Let's see what happens there. So that means 200 and maybe 219 is the right one then. Yes. Okay, so the ring is used in the next paragraph. Okay, first I'm going to do 269. Okay, so Whiteleaf spits in contempt. The ground is cursed with the ogre breath spirit Jaradan Mar treads, he snarls. It's my wish that the wind drops suddenly and he drops with it to his death. Mar has sailed the accursed Gallikeep all his life with its foul crew of bloodlusting beastmen. Someone should sabotage the floating hell pit by holing its hull. I know how to get aboard. The Gallikeep comes to ground not far from here, just off to the west, when the wind dies down. Nothing would please me more than to see the accursed vessel plummet from the sky and crush to the ground, killing all on board. The elf finally picks himself off the ground and dusts down his robes. But this is where I can go -50, so 219. So, oops. So I'm going to get the true story here. Okay. You hold up your ring of truth before him and his tone changes. He shifts nervously from side to side. Perhaps I have not remembered things quite accurately, he stammers. It is not true that the Gallikeep comes to ground near here. It hardly ever comes to ground, for then it is too vulnerable. There are only 2 ways that I know of to get on board the Gallikeep. Every day the ship goes gathering food for the crew. I've seen their catapult traps, which are scattered all around these woods. If you get yourself caught in a trap, you will be hoisted on board. All over the forest they are. Alternatively, you can search for Thugrov's testing grounds and have yourself recruited into the crew. Weaseltongue backs away from you across the clearing. I suspect, he stammers, that you wish to find Sheridan Ma and you wish me to help? That I cannot. His face makes a grimace as he glances at the ring. Of course, I must tell you what I know, for the ring of truth was forged by elven smiths. If meet Jaradan you must, you will find him on the Gallikeep in a room with a certain symbol on the door. I know not this symbol, but I do have a clue as to its nature contained in the words of this rhyme. Okay, so that's the clue. Okay. When fire meets ice, who ends the fight? Who stands between the two? His symbol keeps them both apart, not red nor white, but blue. So I suppose when fire meets ice, it's water that ends the fight, isn't it? So the symbol of water. I know no more that will help you, he adds hastily. And now I must be going. He holds up his hands as a parting gesture and turns into the woods. You watch him go. Ahead, the path continues to the north, but you can see through the trees that it splits. One path heading to the east and the other to the west. Do you want to head north and then turn either to the east or to the west, or would you rather ignore the path and set off through the undergrowth? And this is where I do not know where I should be going next. So let's see, that was number 5, number 6, no, number 7. Do I have any of these numbers on my map here? So 272, I got that. I've got 139. I also got 189, which is different. So let's see if 189, which might lead me to the right place in that case. So many maps, so many maps, so many maps. Where were the testing grounds again? Just trying to see if I can... Oh. Because if the path leads to the testing grounds now, that means that I might have seen that number before somewhere. Maybe not quite yet. Okay, so I will see if I can get to... Okay, so this is also, let's see, 219. Okay, so let's see, also number 7 there. I'm going to go to... Maybe I should just actually do 189 here, because that surely must be the right one now. I can't see the other ones leading anywhere. You leave the clearing and stomp off through the undergrowth. Birds twitter excitedly as you crash through the woods and you turn your head up to watch them. Far in the distance you see a black shape hovering in the sky. It is too large to be a bird and has none of the familiar shapes of a flying creature, the gallikeep. You remember Weaseltongue's words, but how will you ever be able to find a hidden trap among all the trees? Test your luck. Oh, and a rare luck test. Test luck. Now, of course, I probably will have to pretend I got this one right, even if I hadn't. Luck down to 11 again. And then we have, let's see, so that's lucky, unlucky, so 3, 4, 1, lucky, or 3, 7, 6, unlucky, 3, 4, 1. As you search through the woods on your seemingly hopeless task, the ship in the sky is becoming larger. It is coming your way. You begin to thrash about in frustration, but just then you see what you are looking for. Ahead of you, appearing much too obvious now you have spotted it, is a tall, slender tree bent back on itself, a gallikeep hunting trap. You pick yourself up and stare at the device. The tree, a whipwood, has been shaved of its branches. Its tip is held taut by a rope which ends in a ring. Study it until you are sure that you can understand how it works. You wait, watching the slow arrival of the gallikeep. At a suitable time, you spring the trap. The tree snaps upwards and you are hoisted through the air until you hang loosely at treetop level. You are helpless. Your only hope is that the gallikeep crew see you and pull you on board. The ship gets nearer. As the dark shape looms above you, a long pole reaches out over the side and pulls you up through the air. Your plan is working. Sharp claws scratch at your scales as the hands of dark, foul-smelling creatures pull you up and over the side of the boat and drop you in a heap on the deck. Playing dead, you gather your strength and wait for a suitable moment to spring into action. 2 pairs of rough hands grasp your shoulders and hoist you along the deck towards the guillotine, whose blade is poised and ready to drop. At that moment you make your move. You pull yourself to your feet and fling your 2 guards over the side of the ship. 2 burly goblins step forward with short swords. You must resolve this battle. The creatures attack together, as most creatures do in this one, actually. So, we have a 6, 5, and a 5. 5. I'm going to start with a 5, 5. So I've got a 7 skill point advantage. He rolls 4, I roll 8. And then the other one rolls 5. Okay. First one again, 8, 6. Second one rolls 12, I roll 6, which still means that it's a draw actually. He didn't injure me. He 9 and 5. First one is dead. Second one rolls 12 again, and I roll 7, so I defend myself. And I'm attacking the second one, and he rolls a 4, I roll a 10. He rolls a 7, I roll a 7, and finally, perhaps he rolls 6 and I roll 5, and he is also dead. And I go to 300 and let's see, where are we now? 3, 4, 1, 6, 5, 5, 5. I win. I probably should go for a new page, maybe. So let's see, 3, 1, 2. And then I'm going to just move 3, 1, 2 up to a different page. Maybe I'll go page 8 actually, to number 8. So I can do that here. So 3, 1, 2 from page 5. The commotion on deck has attracted the attention of other creatures. You can hear the sounds of footsteps and the cacophony of growling voices getting louder. Oh, it's so exciting, my tea is getting cold, but the thing about a good cup of Earl Grey is that it actually tastes really nice when it's getting cold as well. Well, some would disagree. My wife would disagree, but I like it when it's cold. Okay. You had better hide. Ahead of you is a door leading from the deck, and you step through and close it behind you. You find yourself at the top of a staircase leading down into the ship. You carefully descend until you find yourself in a circular hallway with 5 doors leading from it. Behind you, the voices are shouting angrily on the deck above. They will soon be following you down the stairs, so you had better choose a safer hiding place than the hallway. Each of the doors has a symbol on it. To your immediate left, the symbol is a jug from which water is pouring. The symbol on the next door is a burning fire. The next door has the symbol of a crown. The next a delicate snowflake. And finally, the door to your right has a battle symbol on it. 2 crossed swords painted in blue. Which will you choose? Well, the riddle says, well, indicates to me something to do with water, so I'm going to go with the water symbol now. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 options. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. 3, 4, 6, 29, 1, 2, 9, 1, 5, 8, 1, 1, 1, 3, 0, 2. So that is water, fire, crown, snow, swords, or none. So I'm going to go with the water, 3, 4, 6. The door opens and you step into a dingy room. Dust and cobwebs have begun to settle over the furniture and the curtains over the portholes are drawn. The room itself has an unmade bed against one wall. A wardrobe door yawns half open, rocking as the galley keep sways and revealing elegant uniforms, now beginning to look a little dusty. You get a sudden fright when you see a creature staring at you, but relax when you realize it is only your reflection in a full-length mirror which hangs to the side of the wardrobe. A mirror, isn't that the potential portal to the world that Jared Anmar is using to protect himself? Further around the room, there is a desk covered in charts and maps, one of which protrudes from a folder marked for captain's eyes only. A spiral staircase to one side of the desk ascends to another hatchway which is closed. As you're making your way around the room, you get another fright when you bump into a long, thin, brass-trimmed device which stands on 3 legs and points out of the window. There is no one in the room, nor does it look as though it has been used recently, but you might as well investigate the contents. Which would you start with? The mirror. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I've got 5 options now. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So, and there we are. So that is 59, 4, 2, 2, 2, 4, 6, 3, 7, 0, 2, 2, 5. So that's wardrobe, mirror, desk, staircase, brass. Now, of course, there might be other things here that will help me on the way, and I shouldn't maybe go straight for what I think is the right place to get him. But then again, maybe I don't have much time. But perhaps I should start with, I'm going to save my game, obviously, and perhaps start with the desk. 2, 4, 6. The charts and maps are no doubt vitally important, but you cannot decipher them. In the drawers of the desk are papers, books, and drawing equipment, but one drawer is locked and you cannot open it. You grasp the handle and tug, but the drawer is firmly locked and does not budge. Again you heave at it, but this time you only succeed in pulling the handle away from the front of the drawer. Your anger mounts and you flex your claws. You will smash up the desk to get into the drawer. The timber split after your first blow. Turn to 302. So let's see, that's 2, 4, 6, and then going to 3, 0, 2. Yes. Okay, so that is actually an end paragraph. So that indicates to me now that all this stuff is red herrings apart from doing the right thing. So I'm going to step backwards and I'm going to choose the mirror. And then I'm going to be using probably my thing. The mirror has an ornate gold frame, but otherwise appears to be an ordinary full-sized mirror. You consider smashing the mirror, but it is possible that the noise may alert the crew to your whereabouts. And then turn to 302. But this is where I can use my... How did I do this again? If I find the gate to Zaradan Mar's netherworld, deduct 192 from the reference. So I am on 422 minus 192. That is 230. Right? Right? Is it? Am I calculating it right now? 420 minus 320, 330, 230. That's not it. Is it not the mirror? Am I calculating it wrong? I'm not trusting my own calculations sometimes when I'm when it's this important. So, or maybe it's just in the, yeah. That's 230, so it can't be 230. But there must be something here. Is it the room itself that I'm in? That is the place where the... And that will be 154. No. It must be here somewhere. So it's the wardrobe then. I'm going to try all options now because there's no way I'm going to go back now because I am so close. It can't be the wardrobe because that's too low a number. So that means I have to... The stairs. The stairs. It has to be the stairs then. No. Am I missing something now again? Minus 192. 178. No. Am I missing something? Is there something I can't see? 422, 302, 302 minus 192. 110. I don't know where I'm going from here now because, again, I'm sort of stumped a little bit because I thought this was where I should find Zaradan Mar, and I must have to see if I can find the clue again that led me to, told me about the club being possible to use for this. That's at 192. Okay, so let's have a little look at 192, which is where I learned about the portal. So it's been a while, so I don't remember the details now. Okay, so oh, it's written in one of those things. Okay. And I can't remember. How did the code work again now? The mirror was mentioned, wasn't it? Wasn't not the mirror mentioned? Okay, I just need to find my, let's see, the rules for reading again, just so I can remember what that was like. So that is 130. Sorry about this. This might take a few moments because I'm sort of moving around a little bit here. 3, 4, 4, no. Attack 13. And 4, 7. To find the rules of reading so I can read it. Okay. 283 is where the rules are. Just to recap, so each vowel is replaced by the following letter. So A becomes B, etc. And spaces are replaced by the last vowel to have been used. Okay. So A, so that's AI. O. A-I-O. B. Ma. Let's see. Ma. That's a biography. Biography of Z. Ma. Page 93. Oh, is it 93 I'm supposed to... Is it the page number I'm supposed to use and not the... Ah... I made a note of 192, but it may be the paragraph, the page number, 93. Okay, so let's have a look. The mirror is 422 minus 93 is 329. Ah, yes, I just wrote down the wrong number. Okay. I was right. It is the mirror. The mirror leads you to 329, which is the secret paragraph. Okay, so here we are. At last, the pieces of the puzzle fit together. You step up to the mirror and stare into the glass. You are looking not at your own image, but deeper. Within seconds, your uncertainty disappears as the reflection of your own shape begins to fade and something gradually takes its place. From the depths of the misty netherworld, which the necromancer now makes his sanctuary, the awesome form of Jaradan Ma takes shape before you. As the mist clears, you can make out that Ma is sitting behind a desk in what seems to be a library of some kind. Books are scattered across the desk, along with mystical artifacts and demonic idols, which also decorate the tall chair he is seated in. Jaradan Ma himself appears to be either deep in thought or asleep. A shiver of fear runs down your spine. A feeling of danger sets your heart pounding, and you cannot help but just stare at the necromancer. His very form seems to exude a power which is so strong you can almost feel it. At once his eyes flick open. You jump back as his fiery pupils, like two burning coals, pierce your soul with their stare. His lower lip curls down to reveal sharp, biting teeth, and a sinister hissing sound comes from his mouth. So speaks Ma, with a voice that resounds in your ears. Like the salmon fish, my creation returns to its home, drawn by the forces of nature. Ha, you have done well. And you have brought my prize. You look puzzled. Yes, my fearsome friend, he chuckles. It is no accident that you stand before me on the galley keep. Yours was my finest Miranga, and it has been a complete success. Not only have you proved to be a perfect creature to replicate as my personal legionnaires, but your mind is as sharp as your muscles are strong. You have passed every test, from escaping my dungeons to finding your way into the galley keep, and you have safely returned to me the vapor. Mars seems to delight in revealing his plan rather as a father would to his son. When we first met, you were my captive, though you deserved no charity. I was merciful. Rather than have you slaughtered, I offered you a choice. Either you were to serve me, or you were to become a subject for my own Miranga experiments. You chose never to serve under me, and thus your fate was decided. As a token of respect, I reserved for you my most ambitious experiment. You dwell on his words. You cannot remember ever having met Jaradan Mar before, and why should he have respect for you? Turn to 121. Now, there was something about... Wasn't there something about breaking the portal? Something I could do with the portal? I did sort of vaguely remember you were supposed to do something with the club as well when you got to the portal. Where was that? I'll just have to. I mean, it's been so long since I played the early part of the game. Now I'll just have to. Yeah, I'll figure it out when I get to it. Turn to 121. Okay. The necromancer continues. I have been developing Miranga for many years now. Previously, my successes had been limited to vermin, rats to dibdibs, mice to gronies, and the like. You and your colleagues were my first successes with higher animals. Never before had I managed to transmute a human, and into such a fine creature as you will doubtless agree. You are shocked into a stunned silence. A human? And what are these colleagues that Mar is speaking of? My experiments, at least the ones which survive, are carefully studied and then preserved in the dungeon beneath the village of Coven. All my creations are sent there so that we can assess their abilities. You and your crew were transported there. Your crew? What does he mean? Thoughts are racing through your mind. Some are vague and others are being sparked off as your memory is jolted by his words. Your eyes dart round the room, at the desk, the bed, the wardrobe. It's all starting to come back. Mar smiles slyly. I see it is coming back to you now, he continues. You recognize this room. A little dusty now and a little untidy, but it is as you left it. Your head is spinning. Everything around you is now so familiar. I regret that your officers have not fared so well. Remember Lig, the first mate? He took the form of a blood orc and was placed in charge of the blind fool, Hannikus. And Bergen, the cook? You ran into him soon enough. The fat man was transformed into a hobbit. He joined up with a shaman and a strong-arm. I think you will remember running into them. By now you are in a state of utter confusion as your past comes back to you, and after all this time you are back in your own private quarters. Excuse me. Turn to 199. Okay, 199. Mar's eyes open wider and he leans forward. His head protrudes from the mirror as if it were a pool of water, held onto by the wall by magic. Now I can help you, but you must give me the half-orc's knapsack. What can he want with Grog's knapsack? It contains only a few of the creature's possessions and a box. Of course, the box. You now remember that you have seen similar boxes twice before. Once just before you found you were developing control of your destiny, and again just before you started to be able to understand the languages of other creatures. Perhaps this box is what he is after. Mar holds his hand out, and it too emerges from the mirror into the room. Walaska has failed me, he says, for the galley keep has not enabled us to find the elf village. There was only one way to test the powers of the vapors, to use them on a living creature. I care little for the power of reason or the power of languages, as these are skills I already have. That's exactly what I said yesterday or last time I played, isn't it? It was much more profitable to allow you to use these vapors, but the vapor of life is mine. Give it to me. Will you give him the box as he wishes? If so, turn to 74. If you refuse, turn to 133. Now, of course, I will not, at this point, if I make a wrong choice, I will have to just redo it. So, box or refuse. But there was something about using that something I could do with a portal. Maybe I should go back to that portal thing because there was some other clue in that thing. So biography of Z Ma, page 93. Let's see. Thus came Ma to abandon the physical world and take refuge in his own. A strange netherworld which occupies no space in the world we mortals know. A world of illusion in which where he appears to be where he appears to be, he isn't. And a world in which those searching for him would instead find themselves. He has but one weakness in his new world, and that is a crystal club which may be used to destroy forever the gateway between our world and his. If at some time in the future you believe you have located the entrance to Mars netherworld, deduct the page number above from the reference you are on at the time and turn to this reference. If you are correct, you will meet the necromancer. For having the good fortune to find this. Okay, so that tells me how to meet him, but how does the club help me destroy him now? Okay, so have I destroyed the portal? Does he know? It's not obvious exactly what happened there when I sort of... Am I supposed to use that? I'm just going to check now all the different paragraphs in case there's more than one occasion now that I need to use. So I'm going to, because now I did minus 93, didn't I? So 51 minus 93. I'm just going to check the references now just to see if there's any. Okay, so when I get to the second reference there, 121, as I'm talking to him, I can, if I deduct 93 again, I get to paragraph 28, and then it says, if you picked up a crystal club during your adventure, you will have been given a reference number to turn to should you wish to use it. Do not turn to this number now, but instead add it to the number of this reference. So that's 333 plus 28. So plus 333 equals 361. This is quite complex stuff, isn't it? 361. You pick up your club and step towards the mirror. When Javadan Ma sees your weapon, his confident manner becomes a little nervous. So, my offspring of Maranga, he says, though perhaps a little too eagerly, you choose to turn against your creator? Do not be hasty. Let me first tell you of my plans for us. Whatever future you wish, it can be achieved. Turn to 460. That's the last paragraph, isn't it? 460. Our partnership will be supreme in Elancia. Together we shall rule. If it is riches you desire, then you shall have all the wealth you can use. If your lust is for power, then I shall give you Western Elancia as your own empire. His words are spilling out with mounting anxiety, but you are not listening. Instead, you are preparing to swing your club. Do I waste my words? He screams. Then think on this. If I should be lost, how would you regain your former self? Would you be content to remain a beast for the rest of your days, constantly feared, hated, and even hunted by your own kind? This time his words stop you. You consider them. Should he disappear forever, perhaps you will spend the rest of your days banished from civilization, an enemy of your own race. But then what guarantee do you have that Mars' experiments are reversible? None. You glance back up at him just in time to catch him wiping the smile from his face. He has been playing for time. His image is disappearing. Furiously, you grab your club. Your eyes narrow. You grit your teeth. A low growl comes from deep in your throat. As Mars' image fades, you move quickly. In a trice, you have grabbed the club and swung it. The room is filled with the sound of breaking glass as a mirror shatters into tiny fragments before you. The portal from his land of limbo has been destroyed. He may never return to your world. You turn towards the door. A bolt of pain shoots up from your foot. You have cut yourself on a splinter from the glass. But this should not be. The thick scales on your feet should not be scratched by such tiny fragments. You look down and then you realize what has happened. Your greeny-brown, scaly foot is no more. Instead, the foot is pale-skinned and vulnerable. The claws have gone too. Your hands have returned to their human form, and when you look at your reflection in a fragment of mirror left hanging in the frame, a familiar face stares back wide-eyed at you. Mar's experiments were performed by sorcery, not surgery, and when he disappeared, the spell was broken. As your memory returns, you remember the bitter struggle high over the Moonstone Hills, and Jaradan Mar and his winged Torquay forces bore down on your galley keep in overwhelming numbers. Like a raging storm cloud, the dark Torquay, a specially bred race of war griffins swooped down on the ship, their mounted blood orc archers raining arrows and killing many of your crew. The surprise attack was so quick and so deadly that you had no option but to surrender. Jaradan Mar stepped down off his own richly adorned Torquay onto the deck of the galley keep. You swore you would avenge this defeat, but Mar had other plans for you. The tables have now been turned. You are back in your position as commander of the galley keep. Mar's brainless creatures will respect your authority, though Mar may have shown you a mercy of sorts. You in turn gave him the mercy he deserved. None. And so endeth the book. Yeah. It's almost a bit strange being finished with it now, because it's been such a long and arduous journey that I've gone on with this book. I've spent so much of my life now, it feels, trying to beat this book. Okay. This book is... I'm still quite sure this is the hardest one in the series, because there are so many clues, and of course when I say clues I don't just mean hints, I mean where you actually have to know a number reference, and you have to know when to add or subtract it from something in order to get to the right place. And there's so many dead ends, there's so many places you can go wrong and die, or worse, that it's just completely off the scale from anything else that I've played before. But I got to the end of it, and I sort of managed to pick up on quite a few of the hints as well as the clues. Yeah, it's been quite a roller coaster of a journey, I must say. And I've been knocking my head against the wall a few times, wondering where on earth do I go now. And then I've managed to sort of find that little place where there is something going on, where there's room for moving somewhere else, and something else happens. And this is so exciting. I haven't finished my tea yet. Iced tea, lovely. So yeah, it's been quite exciting. So it's been really hard work actually doing this book. I think I'm going to need a little break after this one, even though I just had one before I finished this book. Well, that wasn't the break. I was actually not feeling well at all. So yeah. Okay, so well, thank you for watching. There will be more episodes coming up and I'm supposed to do a fighting fantasy roulette between each book I finish, but to be perfectly honest with you, I don't actually feel like doing a fighting fantasy roulette this time. I'm going to do, next time I play, I'm going to start a new book. I just need a new book now that this book has been filling my head with all the traps and dead ends and wild goose chases and elaborate things going on for so long now, that I just need to get that out. And I think playing fighting fantasy roulette, which is a little bit confusing in itself, probably isn't the way to go. I want something coherent, straightforward, hopefully, fingers crossed. I don't know, if next book is a little bit linear. I almost hope it's a bit linear now. So that means next time I will be playing beneath Nightmare Castle. Not in time for Halloween, unfortunately, but it will be exciting, I hope. This is sort of a horror kind of story, I would imagine. It certainly looks a bit horror-ish to me. And I can finally put Creature of Havoc back on the shelf where it now belongs. I'm glad I played this one. I really, really enjoyed it, but it is really, really hard as well. It's a slog, I can tell you. It's a slog. So, and such a convoluted map as well. Everything about it is just a completely different scale of complexity compared to anything else. Now, I think maybe Sorcery by Steve Jackson has some of the same complexities, maybe not as much, but it certainly is going to be a tricky one as well. I will do that at some point, but I probably will do everything else first. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this. I really did enjoy this, and it was really hard to get through, but we got there in the end, and I'm sort of feeling a bit lighter and relieved now. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Goodbye for now.